Have you ever wondered if the guns that defined the Old West, the same ones Wyatt Earp, Buffalo Bill, and frontier outlaws carried, could still be fired today? What if I told you they not only still exist, but are actively used by shooters, collectors, and cowboy action competitors around the world? From six-shooters that made history to lever-actions chambered in modern calibers, this video takes you on a journey through 7 Wild West weapons still in use today. Legends of the frontier that haven't faded from the range or the history books. Whether you love firearms, history, or just incredible engineering, you're about to see the past come alive in the hands of people who still shoot these iconic designs. They say history is written by the victors, but on the wide, unforgiving plains of the American frontier, it was written by the rifleman who could place one perfect shot. Among the hunters of the Old West, one rifle earned a chilling nickname, the Poison Slinger. That rifle was the Sharps Model 1874. The Model 1874 was a single-shot falling block rifle built in the United States, based on the earlier innovations of firearms designer Christian Sharps. Its breech-loading falling block mechanism was simple, incredibly strong, and built to handle some of the most powerful cartridges of the 19th century. A typical sporting version weighed about 9.5 pounds, giving shooters the stability needed for precise long-range shots. Barrel lengths varied depending on configuration, while usually ranging from about 21 inches to 36 inches. Unlike later repeating rifles, the Sharps was built for deliberate shooting, one carefully loaded cartridge at a time, every shot placed with purpose. It was chambered in formidable cartridges like .4070, .4490, .4570, and .5070. These heavy rounds delivered tremendous stopping power, making the rifle especially effective for hunters working the vast bison herds across the plains. Most rifles came equipped with ladder-style iron sights, while others featured tang sights or specialized target sights that allowed skilled marksmen to reach out to extraordinary distances. Customization played a major role in its popularity. Shooters could order different barrel lengths, triggers, stocks, calibers, and sighting systems, tailoring the rifle to their exact needs. That flexibility made the Model 1874 a trusted choice among professional buffalo hunters and experienced plainsmen who depended on reliability in harsh, open country. The roots of the design go back to the late 1840s, when Christian Sharps introduced his original falling block concept. By the 1870s, that idea had evolved into the Model 1874, earning a reputation as one of the most respected commercial rifles in the United States. Its legend was cemented during the Second Battle of Adobe Walls, when buffalo hunter Billy Dixon reportedly used a .50 caliber Sharps rifle to hit a target more than 1,500 yards away. But even a rifle like this couldn't outrun progress. By the early 1880s, repeating rifles offering faster follow-up shots were becoming more common, and the collapse of the buffalo herds reduced demand for large-bore hunting rifles. In 1881, the original Sharps company shut down. Today, the Sharps lives on through high-quality reproductions built by companies like Shiloh Rifle Manufacturing Company and C. Sharps Arms. Widely used in black powder silhouette competitions, historical reenactments, and even big-game hunts, the Sharps still captivates shooters today with its balance, long-range accuracy, and the unmistakable feeling of firing a true piece of Old West history. Imagine a rifle so slick, fast, and reliable that it didn't just dominate the frontier. It traveled to the Arctic, ventured into the Amazon, starred in Hollywood, and still sees action on modern ranges. That rifle is the Winchester Model 1892, a design that has endured for over a century. Designed by John M. Browning and built by Winchester Repeating Arms Company, the Model 1892 was a lever-action marvel. Weighing roughly 9.5 pounds and stretching about 49 inches overall with a 30-inch barrel, it combined speed, precision, and practicality like no rifle before it. Its tubular magazine could hold up to a dozen rounds depending on caliber, and it was chambered for .32-20, .38-40, .44-40, .25-20 Winchester, and even rare rounds like the .218B. Modern licensed versions handle powerful cartridges such as .357 Magnum or .44 Magnum and .454 Cazol, proving the design's adaptability even today. Browning scaled down the earlier model 1886 into a lighter, faster, and smoother rifle, capable of firing contemporary revolver cartridges. Shooters could carry one type of ammo for both rifle and sidearm, a huge advantage for ranchers, hunters, and lawmen who needed versatility and reliability in rugged conditions. History cemented its legend. The 1/1,000th Winchester was a model 1892 presented to Secretary of War Patrick Hurley in 1932. Explorers like Admiral Robert E. Peary carried it to the Arctic, Percy Fawcett ventured into the Amazon with one, and even the Royal Navy used them aboard ships during World War I. Hollywood then immortalized it, and with stars like John Wayne wielding the 1892 in films that defined the Wild West in the public imagination. No rifle is perfect. The tubular magazine limited pointed modern bullets for safety. It was heavier than many contemporary sporting rifles, and early versions lacked modern safety mechanisms. But these trade-offs only highlight the ingenuity of a 19th century design that has endured for generations. More than 1 million were built before production halted during World War II, a milestone nearly unmatched in lever-action history. Today, licensed reproductions by Rossi, Chiappa, and Browning faithfully preserve the feel, function, and timeless performance of the Model 1892, proving that a century-old rifle can still capture the imagination and respect of shooters around the world. Ever wonder what rifle made the Wild West feel just a little less wild? The one that could settle a range war, keep a rancher safe, and fire round after round without slowing down? Meet the Winchester Model 1873, the gun that won the West, still being made and shot more than 150 years later. When it arrived in 1873, the Winchester Model 1873 was a game-changer. It was a lever-action repeating rifle, built in the United States by Winchester. Repeating Arms Company, refining lessons from designer Benjamin Tyler Henry's earlier work. Weighing about 9.5 pounds and measuring just over 49 inches long with a 30-inch barrel, it balanced heft and control. Its tubular magazine held up to 13 or 14 rounds, depending on caliber, and it was chambered in popular cartridges like .44-40, .38-40, and .32-20 Winchester. Today, his modern versions even handle .357 Magnum, .38 Special, and .45 Colt, while keeping the same feel frontier shooters loved. What made it revolutionary wasn't raw power, it was speed, reliability, and adaptability. The lever-action system allowed smooth, fast follow-up shots, giving anyone in the saddle a huge advantage on the open plains. Centerfire cartridges made it safer and more consistent than the rimfire rifles before it, and the choice of calibers meant a cowboy could carry one type of ammo for both his rifle and revolver. Over 720,000 of these rifles were made in the original production run, a staggering number for the 19th century. Its fame wasn't just in numbers, it was in stories. Some of the most famous rifles became legends in themselves. Like the forgotten Winchester discovered decades later leaning against a tree in Nevada's Great Basin, a silent witness to lives and adventures long gone. While the Model 1873 wasn't designed for heavy artillery or modern combat, it became a civilian staple across the West. Ranchers, hunters, lawmen, and outlaws all trusted its rugged, versatile design and repeatable fire, making it the ultimate everyman's rifle. As firearms technology advanced, Winchester introduced the Model 1876 and later the Model 1894 with stronger actions and higher-powered cartridges. They outperformed the 1873 in certain roles, but they never stole its cultural and historical crown. The Model 1873 isn't perfect by modern standards, It's heavier than today's rifles. Its original calibers aren't as ballistically powerful as high-performance rounds. And the lever-action system, while fast, isn't as robust under extreme stress as later locking systems. But those aren't flaws. They're reminders of a time when ingenuity and practicality defined survival on the frontier. Today, the Winchester Model 1873 continues to thrive. Modern reproductions stay true to the original design while incorporating safety upgrades like firing pin blocks and improved cartridge carriers. Cowboy action competitors fire it, history enthusiasts collect it, and anyone who wants a direct connection to the frontier can still experience the rifle just like settlers and lawmen did more than a century ago. What if I told you a single 6-shot revolver didn't just shape the Wild West, it survived 2 world wars and is still fired today? Meet the Colt Single Action Army, famously known as the Peacemaker. For more than 150 years, no handgun has carried the image of the frontier quite like this one. Designed in 1873 by William Mason and Charles Brinkerhoff Richards and built by Colt's Patent Firearms Manufacturing Company, the Single Action Army was a single-action revolver, meaning the hammer had to be cocked before every shot. That design gave shooters a crisp, controlled trigger pull, making every shot deliberate and precise. Its 6-round cylinder was most famously chambered in .45 Colt, a powerful military cartridge, though over time it also appeared in calibers like .44 40, .38 Special, .357 Magnum, and .32 20. Now, barrel lengths range from roughly 4 3/4 inches up to 7.5 inches, balancing accuracy, power, and portability. The revolver was born from necessity. The US Army needed a sidearm that used metallic cartridges instead of the slower, less reliable cap and ball system. Metallic cartridges offered faster reloads and safer operation in harsh conditions, and the Colt Single Action Army delivered perfectly. By 1873, it was officially adopted by the military, giving cavalry soldiers a sidearm with serious stopping power. Across the frontier, the Peacemaker became legendary. Lawmen and outlaws alike relied on it. Wyatt Earp, Pat Garrett, and countless others carried it into history-making confrontations, including the infamous gunfight at the OK Corral. In a world where survival often depended on the weapon at your side, this revolver became more than a tool. It was a symbol of authority, courage, and raw frontier grit. Its reputation didn't fade with time. Nearly 70 years later, General George S. Patton trusted the design, carrying a customized single-action army with ivory grips from the Mexican punitive expedition in 1916, and continuing through World War II. Even in the age of modern pistols, he believed in the Peacemaker's reliability and precision. Though the US military eventually replaced it in 1892 with the faster Colt Model 1892, civilians, Hollywood, and generations of shooters refused to let it vanish. More than a century and a half later, the Colt Single Action Army remains a living legend, still fired in competitions, sought by collectors, and celebrated worldwide as the revolver that truly defined the Wild West. Long before modern assault rifles existed, one Civil War weapon could unleash 15 shots in seconds. Soldiers called it unstoppable. History calls it the Henry repeating rifle. This wasn't just another rifle. Designed by Benjamin Tyler Henry in 1860, it combined a self-contained .44 caliber rimfire cartridge with a tubular magazine that could hold 15 rounds. A staggering advantage in an era dominated by slow, single-shot muskets and carbines. Each cycle of the lever ejected the spent round, cocked the hammer, and loaded the next cartridge. On the battlefield or frontier, this meant rapid, reliable fire that could turn the tide in seconds. The original Henry measured about 45 inches long, weighed roughly 9 pounds, and featured a smooth lever action mechanism. Modern replicas, ours produced by Henry Repeating Arms and other makers, have expanded on this legacy. You can find them chambered in .4440, .45 Colt, .22 LR, or even big centerfire calibers like .45-70 Government. Some models now include detachable magazines and optics readiness, but all preserve the classic lever-action feel that made the original legendary. Its historical impact was enormous. Union soldiers carried Henrys into the Civil War, often buying them with their own pay because nothing else gave them that kind of firepower. On the plains, Sioux and Cheyenne warriors armed with Henry rifles changed the dynamics of battle, including at Little Bighorn. Though revolutionary, the original design had limitations. The tubular loading slot could allow dirt and debris to jam the rifle. Repeated firing heated the barrel and magazine. And early models lacked modern safeties. Modern replicas have solved these issues with stronger steel, improved loading gates, and safety upgrades. But the quirks of the original Henry remain part of its enduring charm. Today, the Henry repeating rifle still thrills cowboy action competitors, hunters and collectors worldwide with the same smooth lever action, rapid-fire reliability that first stunned soldiers over 160 years ago. Before pump actions and semi-autos, there was a double-barrel shotgun that guards trusted with their lives, and it's still in use today. That weapon was the coach gun, designed to stop threats dead in their tracks and still revered by shooters over 150 years later. The coach gun wasn't a single model, it was a style. These were break-action, side-by-side shotguns with barrels around 18 inches long, giving unmatched maneuverability in tight spaces like wagons, doorways, and saloons. Overall length measured about 39 inches, and most were chambered in 10 or 12 gauge. With just 2 shells, every shot had to count, and every blast could turn the tide in seconds. A simple front bead sight was all a guard needed to aim at attackers rushing in close. What made this weapon legendary wasn't complexity, it was raw, close-range stopping power. Some short barrels allowed fast swings in confined spaces. The side-by-side setup delivered 2 instant shots without cycling, and the break-action system made reloading quick and nearly foolproof. Packed with large shot or buckshot, one blast could halt multiple attackers. Stagecoach guards relied on this fearsome combination daily, sometimes against outlaws armed with pistols, knives, or sheer brute force. Stagecoach security was high-stakes work. Companies like Wells Fargo hired armed guards to ride shotgun, sitting beside the driver with a loaded coach gun. That phrase, now used casually in cars, comes straight from this dangerous job. These men risked ambushes across miles of open plains and rugged terrain, and a single well-timed shot could save passengers, cargo, and life itself. The coach gun wasn't made by one company. Major US manufacturers such as Remington, Colt, Ithaca, Parker, and L.C. Smith produced double-barrel shotguns that were either factory-shortened or cut down to create coach guns. Belgian gunmakers also contributed to the supply. Even with all its advantages, the coach gun had limitations. After firing both barrels, a reload was required, making it slower than later repeating shotguns. Its effective range was short, and the heavy recoil from large-gauge shells tested even experienced shooters. By the late 1800s, repeating shotguns like the Winchester Model 1887 and early pump actions began to replace the coach gun, offering faster follow-up shots and larger capacities. Still, the original design never vanished. Today, reproductions are widely used in cowboy action shooting, historical reenactments, and defensive training. In a saloon filled with smoke, danger, and tension, sometimes the deadliest weapon isn't the six-shooter on your hip, it's the tiny pistol hiding in your pocket. Meet the Derringer. This unassuming pistol changed the rules of self-defense on the frontier. Compact, concealable, and deadly, the Derringer wasn't built to replace full-size revolvers. It existed for one purpose: survival when every second counted. The Derringer double-barrel pocket pistol, famously represented by the Remington Model 95, was break action, featuring 2 stacked barrels that alternated with each shot. Its barrel was usually about 3 inches or less, chambered historically in .41 rimfire, holding just 2 rounds. The pistol's small size meant it could disappear in a vest pocket, boot, sleeve, or purse, allowing gamblers, travelers, and lawmen to carry a lethal backup weapon unnoticed. What made it deadly wasn't rapid fire, it was pure surprise. 1 or 2 shots at point-blank range could decide a life-or-death encounter. The break-action design allowed quick reloading, and the simple hammer mechanism made it reliable under pressure. The Derringer's story begins with Henry Derringer in mid-1800s, Philadelphia. His original percussion pocket pistols evolved into the Remington Model 95 after the Civil War, firing metallic cartridges. More than 150,000 Remington double Derringers were produced, cementing the pistol as the quintessential hidden weapon of the Old West. Its fame also came from infamy. In 1865, John Wilkes Booth used a Derringer to assassinate President Abraham Lincoln at Ford's Theater, on forever linking the pistol to one of the most shocking events in American history. Professional gamblers, outlaws, frontier travelers, and lawmen all relied on Derringers. Women carried them for personal protection. Its nicknames, boot pistol, vest pocket pistol, sleeve gun, reflected how seamlessly it could be hidden. Of course, it had limitations. 2 rounds meant once both were fired, you had to reload. The short barrel limited range and accuracy, and compared to revolvers, follow-up shots were slower. This made it ideal as a backup weapon, not a primary sidearm. As revolvers like the Colt single-action army became widespread, the Derringer shifted to a secondary role. Yet its design never disappeared. Modern Derringers, produced by companies like Bond Arms and American Derringer, use stronger steel, improved safeties, as in contemporary calibers, from .22 long rifle to .45 long Colt, and even .410 shotgun shells, while preserving the classic 2-barrel charm. Today, Derringers remain popular for concealed carry, cowboy action shooting, collecting, and historical reenactments. You just saw how history's most iconic Wild West weapons didn't disappear into dusty museums. They live on in the real world, still carried, still fired, and still tearing through targets just like they did over a century ago. If that amazed you today, just imagine what we'll uncover next. Before you go, hit that like button to show YouTube this video was worth your time. And if you want more deep dives into legendary firearms that shaped history and still matter today, subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss an episode. While you're here, check out one of the videos YouTube recommends. You won't want to miss what comes next. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one as we keep exploring the forgotten stories that shooters still honor.